I want to make this song as good as a song that I look up to. I want to make people feel how an artist made me feel, that got me into loving music and got me into like really pouring my all into this and pouring my whole life into this and feeling like this is what I'm meant to do. This is my destiny. How do you push yourself creatively and learn all of this shit at the same time? It's a lot of technical stuff that you got to know about creating music. You can either take time to learn all this technical stuff, or you can hire somebody to do it for you. Now, even though I am in the business of being hired to do it for you, I really, me personally, the way my personality is, I want to learn everything. So I'm just curious like that. I really like to learn everything that I can about everything. I'm addicted to learning. Once you get your setup figured out, what you can actually afford at this time, then just use it and try to think about what you want your music to sound like. And when it don't sound like that, be real with yourself. Listen and analyze other tracks. Like, how did they get it like that? How did they get the vocals like that? What's that effect that they used? Like, you have to like take it little by little, and try to understand what you're hearing. And you have to also try to understand like frequency. When you're dealing with vibrations, and that's what music is sound, right? When you're dealing with vibrations, each thing vibrates at a different frequency, and the frequency is the way that how fast the wave moves, right? So the frequency of the cycle of the wave, of a sound wave, which is a vibration. So you want to make sure that, and this is for mixing, but it's also just for like understanding sound and choosing sounds, right? You want to make sure that you're picking things in each frequency. And I know you've probably heard that a bunch, like everything needs room for itself, but the thing is, you can use an EQ to actually see it, especially with an analyzer or whatever, so you can see the waveform. And if you can see each part of the EQ, focus on listening to each part of a frequency. Like with a vocal, for instance, you want to be able to hear a 1K. You want to be able to hear 3K. You want to be able to hear 500. You want to be able to hear what that sounds like. And you just play with EQs and get used to understanding frequency, right? So what that's going to do is just open your ears up, right? And when you start choosing sounds, like let's say you're a producer, you're choosing sounds that are the best sound for that frequency. Like it feels good, it feels thick. Pause. You know what I'm saying? It feels like you can hear the whole thing is solid, like it's a great sound, right? Or it's taking up a lot of the, like a pad would take up a lot of the frequency, but it sounds like atmospheric. It sounds pushed back. It sounds surrounding you, but you also have a sound that's a more front, You have your vocals, which, in the type of music I make, is going to be right up front. But still, making it feel like it's in a room or whatever it is. So that's a big part of creating music, is just dealing with sound. Obviously, right? But what I'm saying is, as an artist, if you're an artist, you should be thinking about that and really into that, of course, the emotion. You want to connect with the emotion, but you want to be able to translate the emotion into a sonically pleasing place. So in order to do that, you have to practice and you have to analyze and you have to listen. You have to develop listening skills, develop your ears to a point where you understand what sounds good and how things fit together and why the music you like sounds so polished and so good. Like, is it the equipment that they're using? Is it, are they just that good? Well, they are that good, and it's more being that good because they have experience doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of people, of course, are just super talented off the bat. There's people that just can hear music, understand music sonically. Like, I'm that type of person. I hear music in my head all the time, and I always have, and I thought everybody did, but I also see things visually in my head, right? But I also had to learn certain things. Like, music theory is very hard for me to learn because I won't say it's very hard for me to learn, but it's something that I put off learning because I just can hear what I hear, and so I play everything by ear, and I understand what I'm trying to translate in my head. Now, the problem with that is that it takes longer for me to reach a melody sometimes not. It just depends on what I'm trying to go for. But people who are actual musicians and are just like trained, like a trained pianist, or people who play an actual instrument, they know how to reach the thing in their head much quicker, and that is a talent that I think everyone will be, you're going to be better regardless if you practice that type of music theory and understand it. And I'm working on that myself, but I still understand how to make great beats because I understand what great production is, and I can kind of I use sounds. Like, if I use a loop or something like that, I use that as basically like a musician for hire. So if I were to direct or conduct other musicians, I would get a good result because I understand what each instrument is supposed to be doing and the frequency where they play and good melodies that go together. And I could literally like just tell, like hum something to a instrumentalist, and they'll be able to do it. I actually did that with a violinist. Shout out to Joy. But yeah, so I'm trying to figure out what was the point that I was trying to make. Oh yeah, back to, okay, so you want to understand these things and everything. You want to learn these things, right? But the whole point of learning this stuff is so that you can focus on creating the best music that you can possibly make. You could focus, you could lock into your creative zone and just do your thing, because it's going to be like a muscle. If you're constantly creating and constantly making project after project, being obsessed with it, really going deep into it, deep dives, like watching tutorials, but also putting the tutorial into practice, constant repetition. So you need these reps. You need to just keep going and doing this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and just trust that process. And it's not going to be now, like, when you do that and you reward yourself with a new microphone, right? At that point, now you done got so many reps in that you're able to get that new microphone and make it sound good. Now it's like, oh, I just upgraded. I just got a new microphone. I just got a new audio interface, and things sound amazing. You know, now you got to get used to the new stuff, because there's always going to be a learning curve with everything. With everything, there's going to be a learning curve. Just know that. So the more things you buy, the more things you got to learn. Like, that can't be understated. And a lot of times that does slow you down, but it also can make you better in the long run. But you just have to pick your battles. You got to pick what you finna get good at, because you only got so much time. So you got to think about it as like, there got to be like a urgency to get what's inside of you out, I think. And not saying like you got to rush it, but just like a way to get past the technical stuff. And I know that a lot of people are gear junkies, but a lot of people, but the people who are kind of like more into, like, I just have this vision and I want to make it, and then they just go forth with it, and they'll pay somebody if they have to, they'll learn it if they have to, whatever it takes. They just trying to get this thing out of their head into fruition. They trying to create something that they see, and it's not just about like, I want to be this star. It's more about like, I want to make this song as good as a song that I look up to. I want to make people feel how an artist made me feel, you know, that got me into loving music and got me into like really pouring my all into this and pouring my whole life into this and feeling like this is what I'm meant to do. This is my destiny. I'm meant to like actually express my talent. And if I don't do it, I'm gonna be depressed. If I don't do it, I'm gonna feel like the world is over, you know? Like, it gets that dramatic. I know that's kind of dramatic, but that's how, I don't know, like, are you an artist or not? You know, do you live for this or not? You know, that's how I kind of feel, you know? And I feel like my whole life and my whole identity has been around music. It has been around artistry, rapping, everything like that, creating. And I added different layers to that, you know, I added video to that, you know, but at the core of everything that I've ever done, it's been music. And I would say even before then, it's been writing, you know, expressing myself in that creative form. But it's all an evolution. It's all coming from the same place. It's all coming from wherever in the universe, another dimension, which I believe, like, not to get too spiritual and everything, but I do believe that we are extensions of a greater power. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, so if we're this extension, we got stuff that we're supposed to be letting flow, letting come through us. And we are vessels for this stuff to like help each other, to expand our consciousness, to bring new perspectives, new lights, new light to the mind, to stimulate new thoughts, so we could invent new things, so humanity can just keep going. Basically, we got to have a drive to keep going, because can you imagine if you trying to like drive like I just drove to Fort Lauderdale, just drove to Miami, actually. You know, I'm from there. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, from Broward County, South Florida. And, you know, we drove to Miami to go kick it and everything like that. Now, on that trip to Miami, if I'm letting my foot off the gas too much, I'm finna slow down, especially since I was in an electric car. So I'm gonna slow down, right? And that feeling of I need to be somewhere, if that goes away, then I could slow down to a halt, you know, and be right in traffic you know, and that is the opposite of advancement. And if you do that in your own life, just you as a person in your own life, if you let your foot off the gas, you're gonna feel it, you know. And not saying you gotta like pedal to the metal, but let's just say you're going at a steady pace, right? You know, if you let your foot off the gas too much, you're gonna feel it. And what that feeling feels like is being unfulfilled. It feels like anxiety. It feels like being lost, like depression. It feels like depression for sure. So if that's the case, right? Those feelings and those emotions are showing us that we're supposed to be advancing as a species, as a consciousness, as an artist, as a human being, right? So what's the opposite of feeling depressed? Is feeling extreme joy and excitement. It's what, you know, the opposite of anxiety is feeling confident, right? So these are also emotions and signs that you are going in a direction that you're supposed to be going, right? So you're at least feeling what you're here to do. And that's the key to everything that I'm saying is in order for us to create and become better creators, become better artists, better, you know, writers, videographers, filmmakers, whatever it is you do, acting, in order for us to become that, we have to embody the purpose. We have to like be able to tap in and be like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I got to do this. And it got to be some type of motivation, some type of momentum that's going to keep you going. So everybody's different, right? But if you don't feel that for the thing that you want to do or the thing that you're doing, then it could be possible that you're not seeing it all the way, or you might be in the thing for the wrong reasons. Like you might just want to be a rapper because you think it look cool, you know, think it's a good way to get a lot of money, you know, women, all that, right? And that's sometimes that can be a initial motivator, and there's sometimes there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because that if money is your mission and you choose to use that as a way to actually tap in to what I'm talking about, to that creativity, then that's not always a bad thing, right? But it's just like when you meet somebody that you know, you're a significant other, you know, you meet somebody that you want to be with, right? First thing that's going to catch you is their appearance. You know, it could be just like the way they look, or even, you know, sometimes the way they talk, all that, right? The initial energy or vibe that you feel from that is going to be superficial, right? Because that's all you know. But you begin to fall in love with someone when you know who they are at the core, right? And I mean real love, not the puppy dog, you know, lust type feeling. But I'm saying like deeply, right? So that's the same thing with whatever creative outlet that you choose to do. And if it's music, allow yourself to actually fall in love with the process of learning how to do it. Because that's part of the process. That is a part that you can't skip over, you know? And if you were to skip over it, it wouldn't even make sense, because your whole journey, everything that you are as an artist is based on what you done and your momentum, your evolution of who you are, you know? So you got to focus on what you want to focus on, you know, and allow yourself to be free and allow yourself to actually create without having, you know, the anxiety. I know that, you know, it's hard to just get rid of anxiety, but I could talk about that for a whole video on how to get rid of anxiety, which I think I will next. By the way, I'm doing these types of videos where I'm just talking to the camera, going off the top of my dome. You know, I have like a specific point that I want to make, but it's like much easier for me to just kind of freestyle and talk and actually give you, you know, my experience, my mindset, so that you can actually extract some of the information, and hopefully it's good. If it's not, you know, then you know, I'm gonna get better as I go along, because I'm gonna continue to do this, right? So anyway, yeah. So you got to be able to ask. You got to be able to ask yourself, do you really want to spend all of this time? And my light went out. Do you want to spend all this time learning this thing, putting in the effort, or is it just superficial? Is it just a one-night stand? You know what I'm saying? Which is fine. You could have fun, do what you do. But for you to devote all of this time to, just focus, just allow yourself to get better and allow yourself to focus at a natural pace, you know, and don't let the shiny object syndrome make you sidestep a lot of your goals, you know. And I'm talking from experience, because I've done it before, you know, having to learn a whole new piece of equipment when I could be making more music. Now it is fun to get new equipment, and then that little boost, that little dopamine that you have can actually help motivate you into, you know, learning. And when you fall in love with a piece of equipment, you become, you know, one with it or whatever. And when you're making your music, everything is muscle memory, everything is clicking, you're able to get into the zone, and now that's your workflow. But there's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be some growing pains in order to get to that point. And it's the same thing when creating songs, being an artist. It's like when you first look at a song, it's like a blank slate. It's a blank page, you know, especially if you don't have the production, right? So when you first think, let me not even say look at a song, but when you first think about making a song, you're at zero, you're at blank, right? You might start thinking about words. That's what I usually do. I'm a writer, so I think about words. I see the words, right? And I think about emotion, you know, like something that's going to make people feel like this. I want people to feel strong when they hear this. Oh, I just went through something, and this is how I feel, man. I feel pain about this certain thing. Like, let me tap into that pain. Like, how does that make me feel? And then you start creating stuff, you know. This is why I think artists should have a journal every morning or whenever you feel creative. I think in the morning, because you're more clean slate. You don't have like all of the baggage from yesterday. So when you wake up in the morning, just write your feelings down. I don't know how that sounds to you, but to me, it really helps you see where you're at, right? And that's where song ideas come from. That's where movie ideas come from. That's where books come from. It just comes from you being able to tap in without getting in your own way. And writing allows you to do that, because you don't have this, like, all of these, you have to kind of focus on what you're saying, right? And being able to focus on what you're saying allows you to slow down your thoughts enough to where you can get something out of it. Because a lot of times we're just thinking, and it's a whole bunch of thoughts that's just bouncing all in, one thought lead to another thought, we, it's not even ADD. It's just how naturally how a mind can work sometime, especially if you drinking caffeine and everything like that, your mind going to speed up. Another thing that helps with that is working out. Because when you work out, you have to slow down your thought process, because you got to focus on one thing that your body is doing. It's kind of hard to think about a whole bunch of stuff when you got to lift some weight off of you. You know what I'm saying? You got to lift that off you. If you got to do a HIIT workout, you out of breath. You ain't gonna be thinking about too many things. So is writing allows you to actually put your thoughts out there on paper and be able to also tap into that energy that you need to tap into in order to write a song. So when you go into the studio, or if you hear a beat, now you automatically that muscle, that thought process is there, that pattern of recognition, that tapping in to whatever that energy is there. And you could just kind of go into a trance and just do it. And it becomes so much easier. And then also, having listened to so much music and understanding what makes a good hook, what makes a good lyric, what makes a good bar, how did they do it? Like the economy of words, understanding what the economy of words is, like being able to put this word with that word, because it fits, it flows within a sentence. And it's not about like forcing so many words in there just because what you're saying is so damn dope. Like, I want people to hear this, so I'm gonna force all these syllables into this little spot, and then it's gonna sound rushed. It's gonna sound off. You know what I mean? And it could sound off in a good way or whatever, but it's all about like whatever you're trying to do. There's no rules for creating music, but there are guidelines that you should probably adhere to. You know what I'm saying? You should probably stay within the lines of the lanes. You could switch lanes, but stay within the line. Don't be swerving all over the place. You know what I mean? It's just be able to focus on your goal and your vision for your project. So I know that was a long rant. And if you still listen to this, man, I respect that. I appreciate you, because I don't know if this was hard to follow or not, but I'm just going to post this because I'm doing this as a little bit of an experiment, just to see if I can get more information out just by talking. Then it's going to allow me to help more people. It's going to allow me to train everybody, or people, help people, train themselves. And that way they can get the most value out of what I'm doing. And as a person that's like, I am a coach, I'm selling my coaching services, but I wanted to actually just coach you as much as I can. And if you want to buy the service, cool, but tell me what you want to know for free. Like, I don't have no problem with telling you, whatever anybody wants to know. If I know it, because I'm not going to talk out of my ass, but if I know it, then I'll have no problem telling you. I'm not hiding no secrets or nothing like that. I have a lot of knowledge about creating music. I have a lot of knowledge about creating video. I have a lot of knowledge about writing. So if I can help somebody tap into their purpose, then that's what I'm in it for, and if people want more detailed one-on-one time, then yeah, you could pay for that. And that's cool, I would love for that, you know, because I can help you with your individual problems. But we have problems that we all kind of share, you know, certain things. So I wanted to help people with that. So that's what I'm doing with this video. I hope you got a lot of value out of it. Remember, don't let nothing get in the way of your creativity. Don't let technical things slow you down from creating, and make sure that you're practicing how to get to that creative point, and trusting the process that you're going to be able to get good. But you really have to kind of be a little bit obsessive about it. You have to focus. You have to really devote a lot of time and be honest with yourself. Is this what I want to do with my time? Do I want to? And the only way you're going to be able to know that is by actually doing it for a long period of time. And if it clicks, if it starts clicking and you love this, that's how you know. You know, when like if you're doing it and time passes by and you forgot to eat, you know, you forgot what you were doing. You don't even know, like, you didn't realize it was dark outside, or you didn't realize the sun had came up, you know, then you know that you're doing the right thing. All right. So that's it. I'm gonna see y'all on the next one. Y'all be easy. Happy New Year. And yeah, get out there and create something, or get in there and create something. Wherever you go, create something. All right. And I'm gonna holler at y'all on the next one.